Hello friendos and bendos, it's me Z, and recently I did a community post requesting for you guys to give me your questions related to Wonder Woman, whether it be about her and her lore, or whether it be about me and my opinions on her. And well, you guys did a lot of questions, so I'm gonna answer them. And maybe this can be a series? I don't know, place your questions about Wonder Woman below in the comments, and I may get to them in another video if this one does well. Alright, so let's begin. Alright, the first question asks, who created the Lasso of Truth? So, originally in the Golden Age, the Lasso of Truth was created by Metalla, the Amazonian metalsmith. She turned Hippolyta's girdle, at the behest of Aphrodite and Athena, into a magic lasso that could control anybody who was wrapped in it. Of course, this was later changed to only really deal with truth and dispelling illusions, but originally, you could just wrap someone up with the lasso and they would do whatever you told them to. And this origin was slightly tweaked in the post-crisis era, to which it was Hephaestus who forged Gaia's girdle into a golden lasso, and then it was also infused with the powers of Hestia, and that's been the origin of the lasso ever since. The next question asks, what is my favorite thing about Wonder Woman? And I definitely think that my favorite thing about her is the fact that she's an ambassador of sorts. I especially loved in the Rucka era, where she literally was the ambassador to Themyscira. I love the fact that one of her, her main goal is to spread Amazonian ideals. She wants peace and love on the earth, and she wants that for everybody. She tries to teach that to everybody, and I love the fact that at her core, it's not just fighting that she does, alright? She's not just a superhero, but she's also not a preacher. She's somebody who shows the way of love and compassion, and she really believes in the good of humanity, and that's just the thing I love about her the absolute most. The next question is the Purple Healing Ray still canon? And the answer to that is yes, it is still canon. It was referenced as recently as Batman Superman World's Finest issue number 30, and it was great. I love the fact that the Purple Healing Ray is still canon. The Amazons are high-tech, and we should be reminded of that pretty frequently, especially with the Purple Healing Ray being one of their most famous and most powerful technologies, since, it literally heals most injuries with just a beam of light. It's so awesome, I love that. Alright, the next question is, what is the origin of the Kangas? Now, currently in the comics, we don't have an origin, but we did get one origin all the way back in the 40s in Wonder Woman number 23, okay? And bear with me now. Alright, there is a spacefaring race of Amazons that invades Themyscira, and their mounts are the Kangas because they can fly and navigate through space. And essentially, these spacefaring Amazons get defeated, and they surrender, and they are allowed to stay on Themyscira, and the Kangas are allowed to stay on Themyscira as well, and they ended up breeding and proliferating, and that's why there are Kangas on Themyscira, and that's why they are their main mounts on Themyscira. And just to put the cherry on top of this, to explain what the Amazons rode before they had the Kangas, instead of saying horses, the Amazons have giant rabbits, which is just insane to me. But 40s Wonder Woman as a whole was insane to me. So this was the original Golden Age origin of the Kangas. It's probably still not canon, but it's the only origin we've ever gotten for them, so that's what I'm telling you. The next question is, what do you think about the balance between all the thematics that Wonder Woman has on her stories? The Greek mythology aspect, their traditional superhero adventures, the war heroine, all of that, and how should it be handled? Overall, I think it's handled pretty well. Wonder Woman has existed for a long time, so she has had stories from all sorts of avenues and all sorts of genres, and I think currently she has a pretty good mix between all of them, and I'm fine with that. I think that she should be allowed to go on all sorts of different adventures. Personally, I'm not a big fan of her space adventures, but that's just me. But yeah, I think it's done pretty well. The next question is to give my honest thoughts on Tom King's Wonder Woman, and I'm just gonna come in swinging. I really enjoy it. I do really enjoy it, and that's mostly because Tom King is one of my favorite current writers in comics, and that is, of course, a very controversial take, because Tom King is a very controversial writer. You either love him or you hate him. I personally really like his writing and his writing style, and I love how it's being portrayed in Wonder Woman, how he's portraying her, how he's doing her mythos. I love the themes currently exhibiting in the book. Really, it's pretty much one of my most anticipated books every month. It's so fun. It's so good, and I feel like I leave every issue like not even just gaining something, but just feeling satisfied. You know what I mean? Like, it's very hard to feel satisfied by just single issues, but King manages to have every issue pack a punch, and I just really enjoy it. I love that the Wonder Girls are getting a spotlight. I love all the different villains that are getting a spotlight. The Sovereign's whatever. I like his thematic meaning, but he's not really that great of a villain overall. And of course, issue 10 is fucking peak, alright? I mean, come on. Give me that Wonder Cheetah, okay? I'm just saying. Thank you, King, for that one, alright? But yeah, overall, I'm really enjoying King's run. If it like keeps up with this quality, it might end up being one of my favorite Wonder Woman runs of all time. Like, it's really, really good, in my opinion. Of course, you're free to disagree with that. Tom King, not for everybody, but he is for me. And I really like his work, and I love this book, so yeah. Alright, the next question is, can you explain the whole deal with Donna Troy? I've heard people say that she keeps getting retconned. Okay, so this is a very complicated question. So basically, you have to realize that Donna Troy was a mistake. And I don't mean that like as a jab, I literally mean that she was a mistake. Originally, there was a series of stories where Wonder Woman, we would see adventures of Wonder Woman as a little girl. And when they were making the Teen Titans book at the time, the writer was confused, and he thought that Wonder Girl wasn't actually Wonder Woman when she was young, but was actually a whole separate character who was Wonder Woman's psychic, even though that wasn't the case. And so Wonder Girl was where Donna Troy was born, essentially. And she was given her own origin as a girl who was caught in a fire and her parents died, and she was rescued by Wonder Woman and was brought to Paradise Island, and there she was given powers and was trained, and that's the story of Donna Troy. However, then came Crisis on Infinite Earths. So Crisis on Infinite Earths, it was a reboot and it reset Wonder Woman, but it didn't reset Donna Troy. So essentially, Donna Troy, her continuity was kept the same, but Wonder Woman was completely different. And so their connection was severed, but everything else stayed pretty much the same. She was still a member of the Teen Titans. It's just that she wasn't connected to Wonder Woman anymore. But like, now what's her actual origin now that she isn't connected to Wonder Woman? So they made it so that she was actually raised by the Greek Titans, basically. And that was its whole deal. But then they thought, well, that's a little stupid. Why is Wonder Girl completely unrelated to Wonder Woman? So then they decided that actually it was all false memories. That's right, false memories, alright? Wonder Girl had actually been through several different life cycles with different false memories, all because of essentially like this mystic vampire thing. And in reality, it was actually that Donna Troy was a clone of Wonder Woman, a magic clone of Wonder Woman to make Diana have a friend on Paradise Island, since she was the only child. But this magic, essentially like vampire, took her and gave her a bunch of false memories and had her living a bunch of different lives with a bunch of different false memories. And it was just crazy. But eventually, you know, Donna got her memory back and she was back to essentially being Diana's sister. But then New 52 happened, and then she was retconned again. But that's so confusing, right? But then Rebirth happened, and now she's back to being, I'm pretty sure she's back to being a little girl who was in a fire, and she was rescued by Wonder Woman, and she was given powers on Paradise Island. She was given powers on Paradise Island, and now she was Wonder Girl, and now she's Donna Troy instead of Wonder Girl. Technically also Troya. I think she doesn't really go by a name these days, but essentially that's the story of Donna Troy. She had an origin as a little girl lost in a fire. She had to change her origin because they decided she wasn't connected to Wonder Woman anymore. Then they decided to connect her back to Wonder Woman, and so they made it so that the previous thing was false memories, and then they had New 52 happen, and then she's now back to being a fucking girl who was lost in a fire, who was caught in a fire, and then Wonder Woman saved her. And also in between that, she was also a clay construct made to kill Wonder Woman, I'm pretty sure. The New 52 is a fucking blur, okay? But So I think she's had like 4 separate origins. It's insane. But yeah, she really is very confusing. But just pretend that shit doesn't exist. You really can do that because Donna Troy really has never really mattered to Wonder Woman. Because again, as in the Wonder Woman stories, right? Because again, she was originally just created for the Teen Titans book as a mistake, a rounding error, if you will. And so she's never really had that deep of a connection to Wonder Woman through the years. So you can really just not acknowledge her origin any deeper than she was the little girl who was made Wonder Woman's sidekick through reasons. Hope that helped. It's really confusing. I think I need to write a fucking book for you to fully understand that shit. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The next question is, what are my opinions on Wonder Woman 1984? And I have not watched it. I said I was going to watch it after I did my Wonder Woman live action movie review, but I did not watch it. I'm planning to watch through the entirety of the DCU in release order, so I'm going to watch Wonder Woman 1984 when it's, gets in the pipeline. But so far, yeah, I've not watched it yet. I know, fake fan, I'm sorry, but yeah, I have not. If you watch my live-action Wonder Woman movie review, you'll understand why. Alright, the next question is, how do you think Gunn's DCU is going to introduce Diana and handle her relationship with the world and its heroes? Alright, and in Creator Commandos, obviously, Themyscira is public knowledge, it's on TV, and it's taught about, but we don't know, where Wonder Woman is in all of this. And so, obviously this is just going to be theory and speculation, but I hope that it's going to be handled like it was in Post-Crisis or in Rucka's Rebirth Year 1, where it's just Wonder Woman shows up for the first time in current day, and, people are like, well, what's going on? They learn about Themyscira for the first time, the things that we see about Themyscira on, TV and stuff, that's just like what people are assuming and stuff, but then we'll learn deeper about that with Wonder Woman later on. Hopefully the Paradise Lost show is good, hopefully, and we'll get to learn more about all of that. Really, I can only speculate though. So I guess this isn't really that great of an answer, but that's just my opinion on all of this. We just gotta wait and see. Next question is favorite Wonder Woman story-wise, as in the era, like Post-Crisis or Silver Age. I think it's a pretty easy slam dunk for Post-Crisis. Everything from Crisis on Infinite Earths to Flashpoint was just a nice, solid, continuous story with, breaks in between for, the odd events here and there. Really, Wonder Woman that was at Wonder Woman's peak, and I think it's going to be a long time before we ever get to, a level of consistency that good ever again. Really, that would have just been the best time to be a Wonder Woman fan. I wish I was a fan back then. But hopefully, if King and Thompson, do well with, keep doing well with their runs on both the main continuity run and Absolute. Hopefully, Wonder Woman will reach a new level of peak. But for right now, post-Crisis era, that's the best Wonder Woman ever was, and probably will be for a very long time. Next question is, what are my honest thoughts on Absolute Wonder Woman? It is absolutely amazing. Alright, that's what it is. Absolutely amazing, absolutely wonderful. That's what it is. I'm really enjoying it so much. It and King's Wonder Woman are neck and neck. They're neck and neck in my most anticipated book of each month. I just love every issue so far. It's really good, and we are in a really good age for Wonder Woman being a Wonder Woman fan, I think, at least. And just overall, I'm very excited for what's to come more. And yeah. Alright, the next question is opinion on a possible team-up with Wonder Woman Diana Prince and the Wonder Girls teaming up with the Super Sons Jonathan Samuel Kent Superboy as his 10-year-old self and Damian Wayne Robin on an adventure, and how would you do it? Well, there's kind of 2 avenues that I would do this. Either a flashback adventure between the Super Sons and the Wonder Family. Either that or there's this episode of the Justice League cartoon. It's one of the only Justice League cartoon episodes that I really remember because it was on DVD. I had it on DVD, and I didn't really grow up with the show, watching it on TV. So that DVD was kind of the only access I had to the Justice League show. And this episode was the one where all the Justice League were turned into little kids, and I would really like the idea of Jonathan being turned back into a 10-year-old boy, and then also the Wonder Family getting turned to kids as well, and then they had to go on on an adventure maybe. I think that potentially we could have it so that it's Yara, Damien, and John all turn back to 10-year-olds, and they all have to navigate, an adventure to get their mentors back. I think that would be really interesting. And just overall, I do wish we got to see more of John Kent interacting with Diana when he was young. I think that was a missed opportunity. I think John grew up too quick. I mean, I think literally in the story he grew up too quick. But yeah. Alright, next question or questions, all from the same person. Do you prefer Diana being born or being created from clay? Definitely being created from clay. It's so much better than the Zeus origin and pretty much every other origin. Just Hippolyta creating, this little girl out of clay to be her daughter that she's wanted for so long, and the goddesses bless her and bring her to life, and she becomes a hero that unites both Man's World and Paradise Island. Beautiful, no notes, shouldn't be changed, it's perfect. Next up, who is your favorite of the Wonder family other than Diana? Easily Cassie Sandsmark. I think the only one who could come second to that is maybe Etta Candy, and that's mostly because of her Golden Age version and her adaptations in the live action movie as well as Bloodlines. Current comics Etta is whatever, she's fine. I don't have a problem with her, but she's not the best. But the other Ettas, they have a bit more personality. But even with them, Cassie is kind of the only choice really, because who else are you gonna choose? Donna? I mean, she's barely a Wonder Woman character, like I said before. Yara and Lizzie are both too recent, so you pretty much gotta go with Cassie. And Artemis is also always doing her own thing, so definitely Cassie. I love her. She was pretty much the only good part about John Byrne's run, and I love seeing her character growth. And it's a shame that with the New 52, her character growth was halted a lot. But I do like that she's appearing more in Tom King's current run. I just really like Cassie so much. Next, do you think Wonder Woman should ever have a girlfriend, even if it's just in a flashback? Yes, absolutely. Wonder Woman being queer is a part of her identity built into her from all the way back in the beginning by Marston, so I don't see why it shouldn't be explored more even. Next, do you think Hippolyta will be the first Wonder Woman of Gunn's DCU? Do you think she should be? I'm not a big fan of the whole Hippolyta as the Golden Age Wonder Woman thing, or Hippolyta being the first Wonder Woman. I've never been a fan of it. I wasn't a fan when Byrne introduced the idea, and I'm not a fan of it as a thing in the DCU. I like Diana being the first Amazon to really establish connection between Man's World and Paradise Island in a type of way. And I think Hippolyta being the first Wonder Woman, I don't know, it just doesn't really fit the arc Hippolyta should go through, you know what I mean? Hippolyta, she's scared of, not scared of the outside world, but she's wary of bringing Diana into it. But she shows her, but Diana shows her that connection should be established, and through that way, there's a connection between Paradise Island and Man's World. And then if Diana dies, then Hippolyta can take up being Wonder Woman for a while. That's what happened originally before she time traveled in Byrne's run and messed up the entire thing, and it actually happened a bit recently as well. And that's just my opinion, though. Some people are into the idea of Hippolyta being the Golden Age Wonder Woman, but I really am not. It just doesn't appeal to me in any way. She was Wonder Woman was the secretary of the JSA. I don't really think that, that's something to, really harken back to. Next one is, what comic arc do you recommend to someone who likes Wonder Woman, but hasn't really read too much of her solo stuff? So I did a video on this, but to just give a quick answer, 3 options: either A, the Perez run, B, Rucka's Year 1 and Godwatch. That's a good origin story, just a general origin story for Wonder Woman. Or 3, what I first read to get me into Wonder Woman, which was Rucka's original run, pre-New 52. Really good. It was my first Wonder Woman comic that I actively read, as in the first run I read all the way through, and it was so good. That was my introduction, so it could work for you. But those other 2 are also more easily digestible because they start from a very standard beginning. Alright, next up, are there any Amazons other than Diana that you really like? Why do you like them? Do you think they should carry their own series or work on a team? So, my favorite Amazon that isn't Diana is Io. Io is the Amazon blacksmith, and I really like her. I think she's really cute. I think she's really powerful, and I also like that she's currently married to Nubia. I think they're married. I'm pretty sure they're married. They're not just like girlfriends. I think they're like legitimately married. I really do love Io, and I think she should appear in more stuff. I don't think she like can carry her team. I don't think she can like carry her own series or team. I do think that, you know, anytime there's like an Amazon related book, I like seeing Io pop in. And finally, what's your favorite Wonder Woman outfit? It's the current one. I think the current one with the battle skirts is very good, and I don't think it even comes really close to that. I mean, her like leotard outfit that she had, post-crisis, it's good, but I like the battle skirt a lot more. But as a secondary answer, the swimsuit leotard outfit, but my favorite one is the battle skirt, and my favorite AU costume is the Absolute Wonder Woman costume, with the Bombshells version coming in second for that. Alright, new person, new question. Is Diana an immortal goddess or a demigod with longevity? Or is she immortal as long as she's on Themyscira like the other Amazons? Okay, so Diana is immortal, but it's not tied to Themyscira currently. But she is immortal, that's confirmed, and in the possible future of Immortal Wonder Woman from future states, she's actually the last living being in the universe, which is really cool. But Diana is immortal. The reason why, it changes a lot from time to time. When you leave Themyscira as an Amazon, you lose her immortality, but that's been changed. And as well as that, Diana has died and been brought back so many times by the gods that I really can't say whether or not any of these reasons are why she is immortal, but she is immortal, that's for sure. It might also be because she's clay, but that depends on the continuity as well and the current time. So it's very confusing, but long story short, Diana is immortal, and it's due to a variety of reasons. Alright, the next question is, what would you say are the core characteristics of Diana that is present in all her best comics? What must one know in order to write for her character? Compassion. Compassion, compassion, compassion. That is at the very, very core of Diana as a character. If you cannot imagine Diana, if you cannot imagine her bringing even like really solid advice, solid life advice, comforting you in your times of need, being a beacon of hope, then you've written her wrong. Alright, Diana is an absolute just beast when it comes to compassion. There's a reason why when she was given a lantern ring, it was the Star Sapphire ring. It's why she became a Pink Lantern, because love and compassion are the chorest parts of her character. And if you write her as just a stoic lady, or not caring about humans, it's just so wrong. Alright, that's what Jeff Johns got wrong about her when he wrote her very bad in his Justice League run. That's what Mark Waid got wrong about her in a few of his stories as well. Overall, just, you gotta write Diana with compassion. That's the main thing, alright? And you read enough of her stories, you know, and just sift through the good ones and the bad ones to know that which are the stories that really showcase her compassionate nature. Next question, which run is better as an introduction to Wonder Woman? Which one should I read first, the Perez run or the Rucka run? If I had to choose, I would say the Perez run is the best place to start, but I made a whole video about this. Again, I'm showing my video again, but I made a video about which runs I think you should start Wonder Woman at, depending on your tastes. But just from this question alone, I'm going to say the Perez run is the best place to start reading Wonder Woman. Next question, favorite Wonder Woman villain who hasn't been in the movies? Alright, this is very easily Angleman. If you don't know who Angleman is, he's Angelo Bend. He was originally a Wonder Woman villain who was just a common thief, but he knew the angles to every situation, so he was like a smart thief, right? But then one day, Darkseid, that's right, Mr. Apocalypse himself, gave him the Angler and a piece of apocalyptic tech that could literally warp space and time, and he gave that to Angleman in order to help him in his group that Darkseid was created of supervillains to defeat the Justice League. And after Anglo-Man was defeated that time, he decided that he was just going to use the Angler to just commit crimes again. He was just going to rob people and rob banks and hold things for ransom with his reality warping device. And for some reason, that's just so amazing to me. Like, a villain with this much power who just settles for just being a bank robber, I think it's very fun, and I just love Anglo-Man so much, and I'd love for him to be in a movie, whether it's just a minor villain, a side villain, a henchman, even just a main villain, and the battle isn't even oh, it's a battle for reality itself. Anglo-Man's trying to take over the world. No. I want it to just be Anglo-Man is stealing shit, and Wonder Woman has to stop him, even though he has such a powerful weapon. I really, really, really like Anglo-Man, and I want him to show up. And for the final question, how would you make Dr. Domino a good villain? And I think Dr. Domino is already fine the way he is, honestly. I think you should just reintroduce him. I think Wonder Woman has a niche of mob boss villains that really need to be filled. Anglo-Man kind of had that originally, but now he's more of a thief, gentleman thief villain generally. I think Dr. Domino can fill the space very well as a mob boss, mafia type villain for the Wonder Woman mythos. Okay, friendos and bendos, that's all the questions that you asked me answered. I loved answering all of them. I hope that I gave satisfactory answers. This is my first time ever doing that type of Q&A video, so just give me your thoughts below, and comment below your own questions. If I get enough, I might make another type of video like this, but it depends on your response. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.